Hello, everyone. This is Debra Poneman, and I'd like to welcome you to our call with today's guest, Stacey Mayo. Stacey founded the Center for Balanced Living in 1995 and is the creator of the Sentelligent solution. Stacey is a master coach, a certified career intuitive, a medical intuitive, an energy practitioner, and has supported thousands of people in living out their dreams. And she also teaches and certifies people to become medical and career intuitives. As an intuitive and Sentelligent Reiki Master, she's able to tap into the beliefs, circumstances, and other emotional causes of whatever ails you. As a medical intuitive, she conducts full readings and then uses her healing modalities to facilitate the healing of physical and emotional pain. And as a career intuitive, she uncovers your higher path, your gifts, your talents, and the blocks in your way. And if you already know what your gifts and talents and purpose is, she will help you take those things to even higher levels. Stacey is a pioneer in the field of coaching and is even the former program chair for the International Coaching Federation. She's appeared on the CBS evening news segment called Confident Woman, as well as in Forbes, Newsday, the Wall Street Journal, Atlanta Sports and Fitness, Women's Day, and has been featured a number of times in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, including the piece Midlife, about how people can stop deferring their dreams. And today she's going to share with us how to uncover the amazing gifts you didn't know you have, how to sharpen your centelligence to determine what any ache, pain, disease, or malady is saying to you, how to release and transform the beliefs related to your physical symptoms without having to know what they are, and thus greatly improve your health and wealth and happiness, how to accelerate your success in your career and really in all areas of your life, including having better relationships via knowledge gained from your body. And she's also going to show us how to tap into our intuitive abilities, and not only for ourselves, but even for our clients, if you have any. And that's going to make your job a lot easier and more fun. So we have a lot to do, and I am so grateful, Stacy, that you are with us here today. Welcome.
Thank you, Debra. I so appreciate it.
Well, I am looking forward to this, as you know. And before I launch into the questions, can you share with us a little bit about your journey? I mean, did you know that you had this intuitive ability as a child, or when did you recognize it, and how did you turn it into this incredible gift that you share with the world?
Well, it's an interesting question. And, you know, there are those people who, like, they came from a family of intuitives or psychics, and they've always been this way. And that's not me, okay? That is not my story at all. I mean, as a teenager, I used to spend the time on the phone with friends who would tell me their problems and stuff, and I would listen and I would give them advice intuitively, but not the way I do now at all. And I really did not uncover my intuitive gifts until much, much later in life. And there was a time when I remember looking at someone I knew who was teaching about being psychic and uncovering your intuitive abilities. And I kept asking, is that me? Am I supposed to do that? And I kept getting no. I kept going no. But that didn't make sense to me, because I was really, really drawn to it, and part of me felt like yes. And I kept tapping in and getting no. And I later realized the no was due to some fears I had that I wasn't conscious of. But it just really unfolded for me in a very natural way. First, as a result of a client who I was working with on career issues who had MS and wanted me to get attuned to Reiki so that I could intuit higher levels of information for her. Well, I never knew that getting attuned to Reiki would even help you to do that, but I learned from her that it did. And so that was a beginning for me. And additionally, my own health issues and wanting to better understand what was underneath them, and co-creating with spirit healing modalities to help myself and my clients heal, because I wasn't able to find anything that worked for me consistently. And so it's just like one thing unfolded after another, and I did take some formal training much later in life as to become certified career intuitive. I was drawn to it like a magnet, and it was like, okay, that feels really right. And so I just went for it. And that opened me up more to realizing that it was a natural gift, but I felt like there were some things missing in the training, and that's just been my whole pattern is I learn things and then I fill in the blanks and make it easier for myself and for others. And so it just has really been a natural unfolding. And as I was teaching my healing modality, I was naturally listening to the language of the symptoms and intuiting the emotional beliefs attached to it. And all of a sudden I realized one day, I am a medical intuitive. It just had happened over the course of time, not with that straight intention until later in life when I started being curious about medical intuitive work. And I actually started taking an online class to become medical intuitive. And that class just didn't resonate with me. It was just way too complicated for me. Again, I tend for the simple, easy way. And I'm not a chemist. I'm not a biologist. I'm not all those things. So it needed simple. And all of a sudden I was that. And I thought, I started doing it with clients. And then I thought, well, maybe one day I'll write a column. My last name is Mayo. I thought, Dear Dr. Mayo, Mayo Clinic, but I thought I can't call myself doctor because I'm not really a doctor. And then one day the Sedona Journal contacted me to use one of my articles, actually to use an excerpt from my book. And I looked at them online and never heard about them. I thought, you don't want my book, which is about something different. You want my medical intuitive stuff. And indeed, they were looking for a medical intuitive columnist. And so I've been a columnist for them for over a year as a medical intuitive. And I mean, it's just been like that. And then I thought, well, I'll teach this someday. And then all of a sudden, someone contacted me who read the Sedona Journal and said, can you teach me how to do what you do? And I said, yes. And that has evolved into a full certification program. And I just found all of a sudden people started coming, I started meeting people and they were saying, I've always wanted to be a medical intuitive. And I realized I was supposed to teach them, but I had not had that lifelong, I always wanted to be a medical intuitive. But I draw to me the people who consciously have. Does that make sense?
Yes, and you know what I love about your story? One of the things in my background is that I am a meditation teacher, and my first teacher who was Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, who wasn't born enlightened, but followed a path to gain enlightenment, and he was such a brilliant teacher because he had to go through those steps. And people who are born with an ability, they just say, just do it. They don't know how to teach you to do it.
Right.
Yet you, because you had to go through the path yourself, I think that's probably one of the reasons why you are such a fabulous, not only just a fabulous intuitive, but I know you're a fabulous teacher to teach other people how to be intuitive. So I get it. You can teach the path.
It does make a difference because a lot of times I will have people say, well, I don't know if I can do it. And I'm like, yes, I know that anyone can do it because I know what it took for me to do it, and I know the steps that anyone can if they're drawn to it because I wasn't born this way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like Lady Gaga. But anyway, so you have to tell us, what is Sentelligent? Because you say it's a specific type of medical intuition, and your brand is Sentelligent. Can you tell us what that is, and does it differ from other people's modalities of medical intuition?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, Sentelligent is a word I coined that stands for our highly sensitive and intelligent operating systems that we all have, and it includes our 5 senses, plus our intuition, plus our emotions, plus our connection to spirit. Okay, so it's all of those things that we use to tap in and better understand what's going on in our body and in our life. And a lot of medical intuitives do different things. The difference in a Sentelligent medical intuitive is a big piece of the difference is about listening to the language, number one, around the symptoms and using our senses to tap in and really get at the core of what's going on and to get at the emotional core as well, because around every physical symptom, there is some emotional or psychological situation that is not being dealt with that causes us to be stopped in some way in going forward in our life and also causes a blockage in the body, and they are related. And so when you can get at the root of what is going on underneath the physical symptom, you also are getting at the root of what's going on that's stopping you in some area of your life, whether it's career or relationships or such.
Wow. Okay. So you're saying that every physical symptom, whether we get headaches or we have heart disease or we have hemorrhoids, it all corresponds to some other area of life, that it's not only a blockage in the body, but it could be a blockage in our relationships or not finding our passion or living our dream or making money. Is that true?
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. Well, now you said that there are 7 Sentelligent secrets to being healthy and wealthy and wise and happy and all of those things. And I would love it if you wouldn't mind. Can you go through them? Because I believe that by going through them, then you'll cover all of these other points, like uncovering the gifts we didn't know that we had. Is that a good way to do it, starting with number 1? And
sure, we can do it that way. Sure, we can do it that way. Okay.
So what's number 1?
So number 1 is what I've been saying. It's about listening to your body and the words you use to describe the symptoms to better understand what it's saying. So, Debra, is there something going on in your body that we could use as an example? Everybody has something going on, or a relative of yours or a friend of yours?
Well, I'll give you a choice. I have a chronic sore right shoulder. I've had it since I remember first noticing it when I was 11, and they attributed it to my playing the piano and having my arms in a certain position for hours at a time, or the fact that I was born with the scoliosis. But now I am far beyond 11, and it's still a chronic pain that I have in my right shoulder. Actually, I won't give you an alternate choice. Let's talk about the pain in my right shoulder.
Okay, there you go. All right, so I heard that it's chronic, and I heard that it's sore. What other words would you use to describe it?
It's uncomfortable. It's debilitating. I can't do certain things because it causes it to flare up. Like if I jog, I could speed walk, but if I jog for some reason, if I'm on the computer for a long period of time, if I play the piano, anything where I'm lifting my right arm for a long period of time, even when I'm meditating and I use my right hand to do breathing, alternate nostril breathing called pranayama, I all of a sudden, boom, boom, like pain in my right shoulder.
Okay. So I heard uncomfortable and debilitating and something about not being able to go the duration in certain things. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So just like a tidbit of information, right side is typically about right career. Okay. So when we say right career, meaning your higher path career. Okay. And I know you're on your path, Debra. But what I'm getting is that there is a part of your path that feels uncomfortable, and that it is uncomfortable to go the duration, and it's painful, and something about lifting up or being lifted up to the next level of your higher path feels uncomfortable, likely subconsciously. And It's interesting that it's been going on since you were 11, which is a spiritual number, okay? And so Spirit has been talking to you since you were 11 about something that you came to do that feels uncomfortable for you to do to its fullest extent.
That is really, you're good. You are good, Stacy.
Does that resonate?
Yes, it does. Wow. Yes, and actually it's funny, I never ever thought about this, but when I was 11, I was actually gifted piano player, but I never brought it to its full extent because I had all of these fears around, making mistakes, looking stupid, not being as good as the other piano players, like that. So pianist.
Yeah, I just got chills. I just got chills when you said piano. Okay.
Yeah. You notice I couldn't even say the word pianist because I could never consider myself that. I could only say piano player.
Yeah.
I just got that for the first time in my life.
Yay! Yay! So you see, there's definitely something there for you to explore.
Boy, and I'm actually feeling, I don't know if this is what's supposed to happen, but I'm feeling this warmth in my shoulder and kind of like the pain kind of like dripping away down my arm. But it's a good feeling. Does that usually happen?
No, not necessarily. It just says you are ready to let go. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Wow. So is it the words that I was using around it saying, pain and debilitating and
uncomfortable
and
lifting, and then you talked about how you could only go so far. So the word duration intuitively came to me when you said, you could only do this so long or do this so long or do this so long. There was a theme there.
Wow. Oof. Okay, so should people listen to the words that they use when they describe their physical maladies?
Yeah.
Even the word malady.
And I want to give them an exercise so they can do that now, okay?
Fabulous.
So I want everybody to just sit back and close your eyes and take a deep breath in and exhale. And just allow yourself to be right here, right now, in this moment. And think about whatever symptom comes to your mind. It could be something that is going on now or previously. And whatever that symptom is, allow yourself to describe that symptom. If you have a piece of paper, you can jot down the words to describe how it feels. And just use whatever words intuitively come up. Don't question whether they're right or wrong. Just allow them to flow. You can even think about how that symptom feels in different situations and when it started. And then allow yourself to see the connections between those words and your life. And trust that whatever is coming up for you is something for you to look at and be with. Even if you don't know exactly, there are hints and clues in there for you that are important. So be grateful for whatever information you just received. And know that if more is needed, it will come now that you have opened up to it. And thank your body. Give thanks to your body for being so intelligent as to help you understand where there are blocks in your life that are stopping you in some way. And that is called Sentelligent.
Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I got some new information.
Oh, good. Yeah?
This has been great. This has been great for me. And
oh, good.
I want to go on to secret number 2. I want to get to all of them today.
Okay. So secret number 2 is to substitute delicious foods for supplements whenever possible. And I believe that it is much more intelligent to get our nutrition from delicious tasting foods than from supplements when possible. So a good example is if you are low in energy, sometimes B12 is needed. And there are many great tasting foods that have B12 in them, such as oysters, salmon, crab, shrimp, lentils, kiwi fruit. All of those foods are high in B12. So you can pick and choose whatever of those foods that you like and put them in your diet, and then may not need to take a B12 supplement, for example. And so that is secret number 2.
And what's the danger of taking too many supplements or the wrong ones?
Yeah, it's a really good question. First of all, the danger of taking too many supplements is that the body then has to get rid of them, as well as the wrong supplements. The body has to get rid of them. And that makes our organs have to work over, and our systems have to work overtime and operate inefficiently, and affects the operating efficiency of our systems and our organs. So the body has to excrete it, and people go, oh, it's no big deal, your body will get rid of the rest of it. Well, it actually is. It taxes your body, okay? And so it can actually make you more sick to take too much or the wrong thing.
Is that why some people, they'll take vitamins, even good quality natural vitamins, and they feel nauseous from them?
That's a definite intelligent sign that it's wrong.
Yeah. I would think
you got to listen to your body, right?
Yeah, well, I've had health practitioners say, just work through it.
No.
Wow.
I say no. I say if you're nauseous, it's telling you your body doesn't want it, or it's combining incorrectly with something else. It is a sign that something is wrong. Mm-hmm. And your body is wanting to get rid of it.
Okay. Well, then, got that one. What's secret number 3?
All right. Secret number 3 is when you are with practitioners, you want to ask questions based on what you know of your own body and what you've experienced in the past, rather than just relying on their general advice. So, for example, I know that I'm sensitive and that I generally do not need a full dosage of anything. I just don't need it. I'm small and I'm sensitive. And so I also know that I don't do well with antibiotics. And I know that I don't like antibiotics, and I'd rather have most anything but antibiotics. So know your body and ask questions, and don't just take general advice of practitioners or of general advice. I mean, there's general advice everywhere. You can read in magazines. Well, here are 12 symptoms that mean you have X disease. Well, in most everything will say fatigue. Oh, yeah, I'm fatigued. I must have that. Well, good grief. Maybe you do and maybe you don't, right? And so when you read things or you hear general things, you want to ask, is this really you? Or, rather than just going by it because it sounds right. And it's great that we have the internet, but we also have to either tap in intuitively to what we know about ourselves, or use muscle testing to test if something is actually right for us. And everyone can learn how to muscle test. As a matter of fact, if you don't know how, that's something that I teach people how to do. But you can learn to muscle test. It's something that I give away in the package that we'll talk about later, is how to muscle test yourself, so you know if a supplement is right for you and what the right dosage is for you as well.
Wow, so you can actually test if a doctor prescribes, X amount of iron or X amount of B12, you can actually test if that's really the amount that you need.
Yes.
What a great ability to have.
It's really about empowering yourself, you see.
Yes, absolutely. And that's so interesting, too, because, of course, many people just, lay down, their lives in front of, medical professionals.
Yes.
But
yes.
even in those cases, we have to speak up for ourselves. We have to advocate for ourselves. And we can even muscle test those kind of allopathic drugs. If we have to take one of them, we don't have to take the dose that the doctor thinks. We can test and not that we're giving medical advice, but then we say to our doctor, I think I'm going to take this amount because that's what my body's telling me. That'll blow the doctor's mind. But that's what we're here for.
That's right. It's about it really is about empowerment.
Absolutely. Okay. Then moving along, next one, I think we're on number 4.
Yes. So the next one is about opening up your own intuitive gifts. Okay? So everyone is intuitive. And I told you that I opened up my intuitive gifts as a result of a client encouraging me to do that, actually requesting that I do that. And there are many ways to open up our intuitive gifts. One is via meditation. So when we still the mind, we're better able to hear that higher voice, okay, and those intuitive hits. And another way is by being attuned to Reiki. Reiki is best known for hands-on healing. But that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about getting attuned. When you get attuned to Reiki, it breaks up blocks and fears that are in the way of accessing higher levels of intuitive information, higher levels of source information. And that's how I started out. I've been meditating for a long time anyway, but the combination of meditation and being attuned is extremely powerful. And that is also something that is in the special package is a free attunement to open up your intuitive abilities. And there are different levels of Reiki. I call my attunement a Sentelligent attunement because it takes you from the current level where you are to one level up in a gentle way, which allows you to access source information easily without having to remember a bunch of symbols or anything else. The attunement is per se in the cells of your body, and it is with you. And it's very powerful. I'm attuned at a level 7.4 right now. So that's a pretty high level of attunement. But you don't have to be attuned that high, even starting at Reiki 1 and however high you want to go in attunement. With my attunement, you can get attuned as often as every 4 months and continue to break up blocks in the way of you more quickly and rapidly accessing higher levels of source information, which you can use to intuit information about health. You can use to access information for writing a book. That's higher levels of source information. There's a lot of ways you can use it.
Wow. So that is very, very interesting because I did think of Reiki as something that somebody had to do to you from the outside. And you also mentioned that meditation helps. Can you take us through some kind of meditation?
Sure. One of the things about meditation, it's great, it's very powerful, it's very helpful, helps you to be calmer. But a lot of times people say, well, I don't have the time to take 15 or 20 minutes to meditate. And so I co-created with Spirit something called the 1-minute meditation. So let's take a minute now to do that. So sit back again and close your eyes. And move your eyes to the right. Within a field of peripheral vision, you might imagine a dot there, or if there's no dot there, that's okay. Just move your eyes to the right within your field of peripheral vision with them closed. Then move them to center, and then to the left, back to center, to the right, back to center, to the left. Don't stretch so that it's painful. It should be comfortable. Back to center, to your right, back to center, to your left, back to center, and take a deep breath in, and exhale. And as you exhale, allow your shoulders to relax and go into your body. And from this more centered place, observe your breath for a count of 3 breaths. And enjoy this delicious moment. Great. And then you want to just slowly bring yourself back to the present at your own pace. And you can just feel the difference. Just takes a minute.
Well, while we're coming out of that very powerful meditation, which is amazing that in a minute it could be that powerful, why don't you tell us secret number 5?
Okay. So secret number 5 is understanding that what is underneath your symptoms is also what's keeping you from going forward and being as successful as possible in some area of your life. And we really showed that earlier, Debra, with your symptom. You know, and it can be oftentimes a great example is something's going on in your legs, because legs have to do with going forward. So if you have a sore leg, then you might be sore about going forward in some area of your life, you see. And if it's the left leg, it has to do with relationship. So sore about going forward in some relationship, whether it's relationship with yourself or with spirit or with someone else. And right side is about going forward with right career. So that's another example.
Very, very interesting. I was just talking to some friends yesterday. We were having a little girls' day with some friends that I've had since grammar school, and we were talking about how we get cramps, 2 of us, about how we get cramps in our legs during the night and our calves during the night. And now you're talking about legs and moving forward, and both of us are in places in our lives that we're moving forward. This is
so cramped up about it in some way, you see.
Wow. You know, this is so fascinating, Stacy, because we tend to think, oh, it's because I didn't exercise today, or I didn't drink enough water, or I didn't take my vitamin A, but this is just a whole different level.
Well, yeah, and it is interesting because there can be also a nutritional or other component to it, but there's also an emotional component to it, you see. Yeah. So there can be both going on.
Yes, I understand that, but we usually only think about physical.
Right, exactly.
Really fascinating how everything that you've been saying today makes it so clear that, yes, there is an emotional component. Okay, I know that our listeners are probably thinking, talk about, the fact that I have a headache, or I have, high cholesterol, or I have, arthritis. How do they find out what what corresponds to all of these things? Because the people who are having problems with their legs are like, oh, that makes so much sense. But how do people find out? Is that in the package that you offer? Do you talk about different?
I do, actually. I talk about a lot of different symptoms, not all symptoms, certainly, but I talk about a lot of different symptoms, from kidney issues and knee and joint problems to depression and back problems and your fingers and your hips and your heart and varicose veins and thyroid and hormones and lots of weight, excess weight and headaches and migraines and liver. A lot of things we talk about in this package that explains what are the emotional components to those things.
Wow. Okay. I think you covered just about everything. Maybe not, ingrown toenail.
Not everything.
But I think you covered just about everything. Okay. Then move on. Secret number 6.
All right. Secret number 6 is to listen to all of your senses and honor them. Just like you said, if you're nauseous, okay, something's going on. There's something for you to pay attention to. Take a pill, you're nauseous, pay attention. If it smells bad, it probably is bad for you. Okay? We tolerate so much. Certain fabric softeners are bad for you. I smell it in my neighbor's dryer when I walk out in the street. It smells strong. It doesn't smell bad, but it's really strong smelling, and it's really not good for you. Chlorine, bleach, acetone, all those things smell bad. Pay attention. They're not good for you. You see? There's a reason they say wear rubber gloves when you put bleach on, You want to be smart about your use of things when you notice, you listen to your senses and your body is trying to tell you something.
Very interesting because when you said if it smells bad, honor that and I'm thinking, you mean like if something goes rotten in our refrigerator, but you're talking about that.
But that too, sure.
Yeah, that too, but on a whole different level. And I just thought about this, I've been a vegetarian for, decades, for actually over 40 years. And when I smell the smell of meat cooking, it just bothers me. So even the dog food, and we only use turkey dog food, but that smell just bothers me. And it doesn't bother other people. People say you're crazy. But I'm just realizing from what you're saying is that because it's not good for me, that doesn't mean it's not good for somebody else. You have to listen to your own senses and honor them.
Perfect. That's perfect. Exactly right.
Whoa.
Exactly right. We're all individuals. Yeah.
Yes, that's a fabulous tool that I just never thought of. That smell. Okay. Very good.
That smell, it's like, again, we're talking about being centelligent. Remember, centelligent is about listening to and honoring your senses. Okay? So I just wanted to bring us back to that point again. Okay?
Yes. And I love that, centelligence, because you said we're highly sensitive and not just using our intelligence, but using all the senses and spirit and emotion. Now it's becoming very, very clear what this is all about. Very good. Okay, then how about secret number 7?
Okay. Secret number 7 is about aligning with yourself and your purpose. So when you align with who you are, then your body is going to be more aligned as well. So you can think about your spine, okay? So when your spine is aligned, you are aligned with yourself and with the center of the earth, and you're centered in who you are. And you're connected to Mother Earth. And when that happens, things are able to flow through you more easily and abundantly. And so you think of chiropractors always talk about, flow and health when your spine is aligned. And there's actually, an emotional cause for every vertebrae when it goes out. And an example would be C1, which is the bone like right at your brainstem that connects your head to your neck. And when C1 is out, it means that you are out of alignment or having some resistance to some part of your higher purpose or path. And so when you align with yourself and with your purpose, you have better health and better flow in your career and in your life.
Okay, well, that absolutely makes complete sense. Okay, am I understanding this correctly, that those are the 7 Sentelligent secrets to being healthy and wealthy and wise.
Right.
And are there also 7 Sentelligent, something like a medical intuitive process?
Well, I have a 7-step Sentelligent medical intuitive process, which is what I teach the students that I certify. So that is, it has some similarity to what we say, but it's more about explaining what we as Sentelligent medical intuitives do and the process. That's a very quick 7 steps. And if we have time to share it, I'd be happy to.
Yes, I'd love to know those.
Okay. So the first thing that we do, again, is similar in that we listen to the words that our clients use to describe their symptoms, to understand the situation related to the symptoms. Number 2, we will intuit the number of beliefs or blocks or fears related to their symptom and what they are. So, for example, Debra, with your right shoulder, I'm getting there are 5 blocks, fears, beliefs connected with that right shoulder that are making themselves known at this time. And so that's one of the things we do is not only say, well, there's something there, there's actually 5 somethings there. There's 5 fears that are having that blockage happen and that symptom occur. And we also can intuit exactly what those beliefs and fears are. And then number 3 is we can intuit what nutrition the body needs to heal itself and what supplements are needed or if any need to be added or reduced or any food needed instead of supplements. Then number 4 is we scan the body for operating inefficiencies in the organs and other imbalances. So we can scan the body and say, well, your kidney is operating at 78%, your heart is operating at 88%, like that. And we can see if there's imbalances in yeast, in bacteria, viruses, and such. Number 5 is we align, balance, and cleanse the chakras. Number 6 is we energetically clear the emotional issues using an energetic method I use called the cash grid. Now, this is an option that I teach my students. They may or may not use the cash grid. It's my method of choice. It's a crystalline healing grid. And that's what I use, and I can release up to 12 to 13 blocks at a time for a person using the crystalline grid, clearing those emotional issues quickly, gently, and safely all the way back to the point of origin. And then number 7 is suggest any other physical regimes that are needed. If there needs to be referral to outside practitioner, et cetera, we always look at complementary medicine where it's needed. So those are the 7 steps to this intelligent medical intuitive process.
Well, that sounds very, if you excuse me using the word intuitive, how these things line up, these 7 steps. And I'm just curious about the cash grid. You said cash grid, so I'm thinking money, and then you said something about crystalline. Can you explain about that a little bit more?
Yeah, so the cash grid, it's an acronym, CASH, and it stands for Crystalline Attractions Intelligent Healing Grid. And it is a crystalline healing grid using the crystals of the earth. And it's I use it for a number of purposes. I use it to clear fears and blockages for people all the way back to origin. And when we do this, it gets replaced with the polar opposite of those beliefs, and you form new neural pathways in your brain, which allows for new behaviors to occur naturally. But the grid is also used for attracting to you that which you desire. And it works, it's like a catalyst for the law of attraction. If you think about law of attraction, what you desire to you, you attract to you as long as you're in alignment with it. And so with the cash grid, we can also check in and say, well, I want to attract more clients, but they're not happening. So we look and we see if there's any blockages or resistance to attracting new clients. If so, we intuit how many beliefs there are, and we release them using the grid. And then we use the grid. Now you're in alignment with it because that resistance has been released. So then we use the grid as a catalyst to attract to you which you desire. And it's amazing how that works. I've had tons of people share success stories, and I've had many success stories of things coming to me very, very quickly as a result of using the cash grid in that way.
Can you share with us some specific benefits or some specific stories of things that happen to people using the cash grid or this whole 7-step intelligent process? I'd love to hear specific stories of some people.
Sure. I'll give you two, like one would be more of a physical and one be more financial. So for a physical, here's an example of someone who took my program and learned how to use the cash grid and was trained as a medical intuitive, and she was overweight and she always had these food cravings. And so she used the grid to release what was causing her food cravings. And she did this a number of times, and all of a sudden she found that she wasn't craving these foods, these sugary foods anymore, and she naturally shifted to more healthy eating, and she lost 17 pounds. And she did it naturally without going on a specific diet, but rather by using the grid to clear what was underneath causing her to have these cravings, and then she was naturally drawn to healthy foods and naturally lost weight. So that's one example.
And then one. We're all like, okay, I want that one.
I want that one? Yeah, lots of people want that one, right? Because you think about cravings like, oh, I've got to do something physically, change something physically again. But she cleared up the emotional, and then she was drawn to the right foods rather than forcing herself to eat the right foods.
Which seldom works.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. They were like, no, I don't want to do that. I feel deprived, blah, blah, blah. So that really worked well for her. An example, gentleman who had some big financial challenges. This is a fabulous story. He's in the construction business and also a musician, and he was not getting any jobs. And so he cleared something using the grid, and all of a sudden clients started showing up, good clients started showing up for paying jobs. And then he continued to do work and opened up to his musical abilities more, and his songwriting started flowing. And then he continued to clear more things. All of a sudden, now he's got money, his songwriting's flowing. And then, lo and behold, he connected with his soulmate, what I call his twin flame, his lifelong partner. And it was just like one thing after another flowed for this guy, and he was like so grateful. He put his fiance on the phone with me one time. They were like just so happy. His life was just amazingly going well. And, you know, that was one where it wasn't the physical issues, but it started out with monetary issues. And we looked at those, and then the block to the music. And all of a sudden, he was just more in alignment with himself and with spirit. He stopped drinking, and he attracted his soulmate, his twin flame.
Wow. Okay. There's so much more that we could learn from you. And I know that you have created a special offer for everyone who's listening to this call. I highly encourage everyone to go to Stacy's special offer and experience it for yourself.
So if this resonates with you, then all you have to do is click on the special offer button to learn more. I think this package is absolutely amazing.
So, Stacy, can you let everyone know what they'll find there?
Absolutely. When you go to this webpage, you're going to learn all about how you can do a good deal of what we just discussed today. And the first thing you're going to learn is how to use the cash grid. That's the healing method that I was just telling you about, that the woman used to lose weight, that we used to help the gentleman attract money and align with his music and have his music flow. We've used it to heal most every organ in the body. And what's great about using the grid is we've made it so that anyone can use it. In other words, you don't have to know what the beliefs are. you don't have to know how many. You could just know, for example, I'll go back to Debra. So Debra, all you would have to know is you've got this issue with your right shoulder, and you could just put in the grid whatever is related, the emotional blockages related to your shoulder. And the grid would do the work for you without you having to know what the beliefs are or how many there are.
I have to say, Stacy, I'm definitely, I am like all over your thing here. I am like getting this program. But I have to say, for some reason, my shoulder has never felt better than it's right at this moment. So that's what I'm saying. This has to work. I'm sorry. Keep going.
All right. So we've made it pretty much foolproof so that it's like you can't do too much because the grid has a buffer. So if you put in more than your body can process, the grid will put it on pause, so to speak, and put it in buffer until your body is ready to process it. So we've made it really easy for anyone to do this without having to know a whole lot. There's 2 recordings for the cash grid where you learn the content, and then there's a Q&A session where people ask questions, and there will be more Q&A sessions in the future where you can call in live for a Q&A session. And there's also a document that walks you through the steps of using the grid. Then there are a number of recordings where we discuss what is underneath the cause of your knee problems, your kidney problems, the inflammation. In class 4, we talk about depression, multiple symptoms like chronic fatigue or multiple sclerosis, how to deal with those kinds of bigger issues, back problems, and what some of the different vertebrae mean when they're out of alignment. In the next class, class 5, we talk about your hips, your legs, your hands, your fingers, and your toes, as well as what questions to ask yourself and your doctors. In class 6, we talk about your heart, your blood pressure, blood clots, and varicose veins. In class 7, we talk about your thyroid, your adrenals, your hormones, your feet, and your bladder. And in class 8, we talk about excess weight, your nose, your liver, headaches, and migraines. So we give you information about what those things mean, and we teach you how to use the grid yourself so you can release what's going on in your body using the grid, which is an energetic healing method, and also learn how to attract to you what you desire. And then, so there's recordings of all these, and there's also transcripts of classes 3 through 8, which tell you what different parts of the body mean and the symptoms. There's a question and answer session, and then there's bonuses. So if you scroll down, you'll see that there's a coupon for $200 off the next 6-month Sentelligent Medical Intuitive Training Program. And that's, you know, if you take this and then decide, ooh, I want to be a medical intuitive, then you can get $200 off that program. There's a coupon for $50 off an intuitive coaching and mentoring session or a reading with me. You get a Sentelligent Reiki attunement to open up your blocks so you can access higher levels of source information. This is a recorded 20-minute attunement. It's a live attunement, but it taps into your essence and takes you from your current level to your next level of Reiki attunement. There's a draft of my mini book, What is Your Body Telling You? And it lists about 75 different symptoms and the core emotional issues related to those. And there is an ebook on how to muscle test so you know what food and supplements are right for you and how much is right for you. And then there's a recorded Q&A session where you can get answers to questions, the common questions that people have asked. And there will be a live Q&A session scheduled in the future as well. So all of those things are what you get, and the total value is over $1,350, including those bonuses. And we put it together in an incredible package where you can get this for only $97 when you click the link.
Okay, well, that is outrageous. $97. Really?
is outrageous. It is outrageous because just the cash grid by itself sells for $200, and that's to my students. I don't sell it separately. So you can't buy the cash grid healing system separately. So the program itself, this special package is less than the price of the cash grid. It's less than the price of an attunement. It's a really amazing package.
It's half the price of just the cash grid.
Yeah.
Less than half. And what's so great is that when people click on I Am Sentelligent, this all comes to them immediately via MP3 downloads, correct?
That is correct. You get it all immediately. It's MP3 downloads that you can listen to at your own pace, and then there are transcripts for 6 of the classes, the ones that talk about the different parts of the body, so you don't have to keep replaying the recording. At any point in the future, you go, oh, my blood pressure is up. I want to go back and find out what that means. You can look at the transcript and you'll see it. Or, oops, I want to deal with these varicose veins now. You can go back and look at the transcript. So that's in transcript and also audio, and it's all available to you immediately.
You know, this really is about empowerment. You said that earlier. You can really be self-sufficient with all of these tools that you're giving us. You know, the muscle testing and knowing, if it's your shoulder or arthritis or headaches, like what it is, the symptoms, the underlying causes. This is so absolutely powerful. I'm very excited. Can you tell?
I can tell. It is. It really is.
So my last question is, the short-term benefits would just be to learn all of these tools and use them, and the long-term benefits, will you tell me short-term, long-term benefits?
Okay, it's really a good question. So short-term benefits are the emotional things clear quickly. So if you're blocked about moving forward in some area of your life that just showed up, then there's a good chance that the neural pathways in your brain will change, within a couple of weeks. And you may find yourself moving forward more easily or lighter about something or responding differently about things in your life. So short-term benefits are typically changes in our behaviors and ability to move forward with more ease. Now, how quickly it happens does, of course, depend on the depth of the issue for you. And long-term is really about much better health and well-being, emotionally, physically, spiritually. I worked with a woman for quite some time who had MS. She got up all her medication of her own free will and cleared up all her MS symptoms. Her doctor was totally amazed. So longer term, you stick with things, even when you have chronic symptoms, can make a huge difference in your health and well-being. And I do want to say, it's important I say it in the recordings, we can clear something and then go, oh, wait, it felt better and now it doesn't, or why didn't it happen? Because more fears can pop up. But that's the beauty of using the grid. More fears pop up. You're not making the change you want to make. It just means more subconscious fears popped up, and you put them in the grid and you release them. So it's a tool that's there for you forever.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Stacy, this is so exciting. One more time.
So if you haven't yet, just click on the special offer button on this page to see for yourself what an amazing package this is. You will be so glad you did.
So, before we say goodbye, do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share with everyone?
Yes. What I want to say is that it's time to take your power back. It's time to take your power back and to trust that you are intuitive. You are centelligent. But there was never a class in school about how to use these gifts and how to heighten them and how to use them for your own well-being. And so know that this is who every one of you are. If you are questioning your ability to do this, please know that you can. All you have to do is say yes to it and step up and learn to use the tools. And if you have some fears about it, about your ability to do it, just know that that's a good thing, that you can put those fears in the cash grid and release them and let them go. So I just want to send every one of you much love and blessings and joy, and encourage you again to step into your intuitive gifts. I'm sending you much love.
Thank you, Stacy. You are a blessing. And thank you to everyone for spending this time with me and with Stacey Mayo. And I look forward to all of us becoming Sentelligent together and living your life without limits. Thanks, and bye for now.
Bye-bye.